Here is the ancient immortal domain, existing within the inner and outer realms. This place is far older than the four great immortal realms, nearly existing since the dawn of the inner and outer realms. For countless millennia, it has only been known by one name, the ancient immortal domain. From here came the sealing venerable, and from here walked the immortal consort. Everything related to the ancient times began here. The vast earth, now clear as the barriers that once obscured the vision are gone, reveals a landscape where the dark sky appears filled with countless storms sweeping across the nine heavens. Day by day, year by year, month after month, these storms seem to have existed since time immemorial, endlessly swirling without tiring in the sky above. In this dim sky, there are 9 suns, hidden within a mist, their outlines faintly visible. It was these 9 suns amidst the mist and storm that made Wang Lin pause. There are 9 suns here too. Wang Lin's pupils contracted. He had previously seen the 9 suns hanging in the sky over the immortal firmament continent. Now, seeing the 9 suns again, a suspicion immediately formed in his mind. This place could be part of the immortal firmament continent I saw before. Even if not, this place must be deeply connected to the immortal firmament continent. Wang Lin silently observed the world around him. As his cultivation grew and his knowledge expanded, the layers of mystery that had concealed the truth throughout the ages began to be peeled away. He was on the verge of uncovering the ultimate secret of the inner and outer realms, the very secret behind everything in this world. This secret may be cruel. It may mark the end of all things, or perhaps it is merely the beginning of another chapter. After over 2,000 years of cultivation, with countless struggles between life and death, Wang Lin now stepped into the ancient immortal domain, entering a place revered by all cultivators as the supreme sacred land. The land is quiet, with countless statues standing tall. Each statue seems like a petrified human, frozen in various poses, some standing, some kneeling, some gazing to the heavens in fury, others with expressions twisted in rage. These statues, like a 1,000-strong army, have stood for millennia, silent witnesses to the passage of time. For a long time, Wang Lin stood, his head raised, eyes focused on the 9 suns hanging high in the sky, their blinding light making the scene even more surreal. With a single step forward, he moved like a long rainbow, and the wind howled with such force that it shook the heavens. As the wind howled, Wang Lin charged toward the first of the 9 suns. In an instant, he reached the first sun, hanging in the sky amidst a swirling mist. The storm raged fiercely, whipping Wang Lin's white hair and robes, as though trying to scatter them. But his body stood firm, as immovable as a mountain. The storm blew past him without any effect. His face was obscured by the swirling white hair, but through the gaps, his eyes shone with a bright, piercing light. Before the first sun, Wang Lin seemed small, like a speck of dust compared to the vastness of the sun. Yet, this speck of dust exuded an overwhelming aura, so powerful that no one would dare call it insignificant. Even the first sun could not compare to the magnitude of this aura. It was far from enough. Wang Lin watched the mist swirl and cover the sun. With a wave of his hand, a deafening roar erupted as the mist was blasted away, rolling in all directions as if his strength was as mighty as the will of heaven itself. With the mist dispersed like a wave, the first sun was revealed clearly before Wang Lin's eyes. His eyes flashed with cold light, and with another wave of his right hand, the sun's light dimmed. After several tremors, it began to crack and collapse before him. Thunderous sounds echoed across the vast world, and the sun's brilliant light faded. It shrank rapidly, and despite still being massive, it was now nothing compared to its original size. This is no sun at all. It was clearly something condensed from divine arts and spells. Within it, there is the force of heavenly tribulation. This object is the root cause of the heavenly calamity. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed as he raised his right hand and waved it again. Each wave caused the sun to shrink further. Moments later, with one final sweep of his sleeve, the sun let out a thunderous roar. In an instant, it shattered into pieces, collapsing entirely before Wang Lin. With its collapse, a twisted bolt of thunder appeared in Wang Lin's gaze. The lightning was composed of 9 colors, constantly changing, as though sealed within this sun. Its existence caused the first tribulation of the heavenly calamity, which was almost always thunder. Staring at the collapsing sun, within which the nine-colored lightning was sealed, Wang Lin vaguely seemed to see, in the distance, the destructive thunderbolts he first faced when encountering the heavenly calamity. I've long suspected that all the worlds and creatures in existence did not appear without reason. The birth of all beings, all things, is tied to cause and effect. Even the heavenly calamity did not arise on its own, but was created by some strange force or a powerful existence. Wang Lin muttered, raising his right hand to grasp the nine-colored lightning sealed in the void. With a roar, the lightning shot straight toward him, and, in an instant, Wang Lin caught it in his hand. The lightning crackled and twisted in his grasp, as if it would never submit to Wang Lin, unless his strength surpassed that of the strange existence that had created it. Holding the lightning, Wang Lin's eyes showed hesitation. I can see how the heavenly calamity comes to be. I've had a guess, but should I truly learn the truth? Should I verify this guess? After a long pause, Wang Lin's eyes became determined. His immense divine sense erupted suddenly, flooding into the lightning in his hand. He wanted to see who was behind the creation of the heavenly calamity. The moment his divine sense entered the lightning, Wang Lin's mind erupted with a loud boom. His vision blurred, as if time itself was reversing by countless millennia. Slowly, he saw a world brimming with endless seven-colored radiance. The seven-colored light enveloped the earth, making the world appear dreamlike. This world was vast, boundless. Within the seven-colored radiance stood a middle-aged man in a seven-colored robe. The man's expression was one of lofty arrogance, his eyes sharp and filled with an immense aura of power that radiated from him. It seemed that as he stood there, the world was beneath his feet, and all things must bow before him. He was a person broader than the heavens themselves. It was as if a single thought from him could cause the heavens and earth to collapse. His arrogance, reflected in his expression, was mingled with an overwhelming coldness. The man's lips were thin, his expression stern, as if he were a person of few emotions, unyielding in his ways. The instant Wang Lin saw this seven-colored man, his mind thundered. This man resembled the statue he had found in his spatial ring. Almost identical, as though they were the same person. Wang Lin remembered that when he saved Qing Shui in the seven-colored realm, he had encountered a similar seven-colored figure. But compared to this one, that person was nothing, like the difference between the bright moon and the stars. Despite their similar appearances and expressions, anyone who saw them would never believe they were the same person. This cave of mine exists as a separate world, containing the creation of the heavens and earth. All things can be transformed by my will. While it may not be comparable to the forest path Great Venerable's netherworld realm, it is nearly the same. The only regret is that the path of heaven is absent, and thus, I cannot cause the passage of time, nor give birth to spirits or incense. But from this day on, everything will change. I have captured a path of heaven. With the path of heaven, from now on, my cave will give birth to all living things, to time, to cultivators. And with cultivators, there must be tribulations. The first tribulation is lightning. The seven-colored man spoke to himself, raising his right hand and gently waving toward the sky. Instantly, the sky thundered as bolts of lightning tore through the void and appeared in his hand. With a flick of his hand, the constantly arriving lightning bolts gathered and fused into a single bolt of heavenly tribulation thunder. From now on, you shall be the heavenly tribulation thunder guarding my cave, punishing any cultivator who dares to defy the heavens. The vision faded, and Wang Lin's divine sense returned to his body with a resounding shock. His eyes showed complexity as he gazed at the still struggling lightning in his hand. I should have guessed it, Wang Lin muttered. Cave. Cave. The war ghost once said the realm within is an inner cave. Everything was already clear, but I refused to believe it. Just like that 7-million-year-old scattered soul cultivator, who discovered all the hidden truths, but nearly went mad. Cave. Cave. So it turns out the world I, Wang Lin, live in, the inner and outer realms, are all just the transformed cave of a great venerable of the immortal firmament continent. So everything is like this. It's so absurd. The beings of the inner and outer realms were all born from this. Rebellious cultivation, rebellious cultivation. The reason the heavenly calamity punishes rebellious cultivators is because they carry within them a will to defy the heavens. Eventually, they all seek to understand the true nature of this world, which is why the heavenly calamity punishes them. This scene is far more sophisticated than the one in the 7 million worlds. I should have guessed it earlier. I could have guessed it. I just didn't want to believe the truth. Wang Lin laughed wildly, pointing at the sky, his laughter growing louder. Looking at his cool 6 interview. Sweating. He hadn't realized he had gained a few pounds. It must be the clothes, definitely the clothes. What right do they have to imprison all beings? What right do they have to become the rulers of all beings? No wonder the vermilion bird of one generation said that he could take a few limited people out of here, back to his homeland. That's because, other than him, the rest aren't from the immortal firmament continent at all. They're just cultivators born in this cave mansion. No wonder he said that in his homeland. Someone could revive Li Muan, but he couldn't. No wonder. No wonder. Master Sanling can take 7 million people from the 7 million worlds out, and one day, I, Wang Lin, can do the same. I'm curious to see how powerful the people of the immortal firmament continent really are. I'll see, when I walk out of this cave mansion, when I step into the immortal firmament continent, whether I can stir up a bloody storm, whether I can make the immortal venerables of the immortal firmament continent bow before me, a mere mortal born in this cave mansion realm. Wang Lin laughed madly. He wasn't surprised by today's events. He had already suspected it. He just didn't want to, or perhaps, refused to think about it. But today he saw the truth clearly. What difference does the truth make? He is still Wang Lin, still the rebellious cultivator, still striving to resurrect Li Muan, still facing everything in this world alone. Truth is, even if it's the truth, so what? As long as there's an unyielding heart, as long as there's obsession, he will keep going. Laughing, Wang Lin, with his newfound understanding of the truth, took a step toward the second sun. The second sun contained the fire tribulation, and as he approached, he threw a punch. The roar of the explosion was deafening, and the second sun collapsed, revealing the heavenly tribulation fire sealed by the 7 colors. Man, Wang Lin's body didn't stop, and with another step, he approached the third sun. With another roar, the third sun released an overwhelming pressure. Heavenly might, capable of suppressing all beings. Having shattered 3 suns, Wang Lin swayed, laughing maniacally. His right hand rose, and with a slap in the void, his cultivation erupted, transforming into a massive hand that struck the 4th sun. Inside the 4th sun, there were 4 swords radiating tremendous sword energy. But to Wang Lin, this sword energy was of no concern. The 5th sun contained countless illusory figures. These figures merged and shifted unpredictably, representing the origin of the illusion tribulation. The 6th sun contained the aura of 3 treasures, the immortal sealing pagoda and the fate sealing ring, among others. After Wang Lin broke them, their auras merged into one. In the 7th sun, the soul energy of the 3 ancient clans was released. Countless souls from these clans were sealed inside, and it was the ultimate tool for controlling the heavenly Tao envoy. The 8th sun emanated the aura of his true self tribulation, which rapidly transformed, making it difficult to distinguish. Having shattered these 8 suns, the roaring of the ancient immortal domain echoed in the heavens, continuous and resounding. The vibrations reverberated, shaking the statues on the ground. But Wang Lin was indifferent to all this. His gaze fell upon the 9th sun, whose heavenly tribulation power he had never encountered before. Yet, he sensed a familiar aura within. This aura contained his own, Li Muan's, his parents', and countless others he had met in his life. Standing by the 9th sun, Wang Lin calmed down, closing his eyes. He stood there for a long time, not knowing how much time passed. Finally, when he opened his eyes, they gleamed with understanding. The 9th sun, the 9th heavenly tribulation, is the origin of the heavenly tribulation. It contains the destinies of all beings, from the past to the present, whether in the inner or outer realms, whether alive or dead. This 9th heavenly tribulation is like a grand summary. All those born in this cave mansion are recorded here. Staring at the ninth sun, Wang Lin's eyes glowed with cold light. He wanted to destroy this heavenly tribulation. With his cultivation, it was somewhat possible, but he understood that if he destroyed it, the world would fall into chaos. After all, this world was not naturally formed. It was created by the seven colors man using the cave mansion. In silence, Wang Lin raised his right hand, pressing it against the ninth sun. His divine sense suddenly left his body, transforming into an invisible storm that swept across the heavens, flooding into the ninth sun. Under the sunlight, Wang Lin's divine sense spread out, continuously penetrating and fully entering the depths of the ninth sun. Inside the ninth sun, chaos reigned. As Wang Lin's divine sense swept across, he saw countless things. He witnessed the entire lives of innumerable mortals, the entire lives of countless cultivators, and faces he had never seen before. These people, dressed in ancient garments, had been dead for a very long time. The ninth sun contained the fate of all beings from the dawn of the world to the present, spanning countless millennia. It was like reincarnation, like a law, altering everything, turning various injustices and opportunities into the single word, fate. In other words, the ninth sun held what could be called destiny. As Wang Lin's divine sense continued to expand, he didn't know how long had passed, but he eventually found the aura of his own destiny. This aura was exceptionally dense, and in the boundless chaos, it was particularly eye-catching. Gazing at the aura of his own destiny, Wang Lin fell into silence. After a long while, he seemed to make a decision. His divine sense spread forward, directly enveloping the aura of his own destiny. After swallowing it, he integrated it into his divine sense. The moment this aura of fate merged with him, Wang Lin's divine sense immediately underwent a violent transformation. His physical body, which was resting with closed eyes outside the ninth sun, began to tremble violently. In this tremor, it felt as if his body had become complete, as though from now on, Wang Lin would be able to control his own destiny. In this world, no force would be able to change the fate that belonged to him. Not even the heavenly tribulation could do so. Not even the Rainbow Man could do so. It was as if, at this very moment, Wang Lin had truly attained perfection. He had reclaimed his own destiny from the heavens and earth, transcending it. Throughout history, the pursuit of mortals, aside from desires, was almost always a yearning to control their own destiny, yet those who achieved it were almost non-existent. Destiny is capricious, and the power of mortals is limited. They can only struggle under destiny, crying out in dissatisfaction, like ants in the hands of humans, unable to escape the grasp. Until death, they are still crushed in those hands, their bodies thrown wherever the hand wishes, resting forever. But this rest is also under the control of fate. In the mundane world, there has always been a saying that the king of hell lets you die at midnight, and no one can survive until dawn. Due to the fear of death, mortals created tales of the underworld and hell, and the king of hell. But all of this points to humanity's fear and struggle with fate, with the final answer being that they cannot escape. Even if they think they have, it is just self-deception. Only Wang Lin, on this day, at this moment, has truly taken back his fate and become the master of his own destiny. Having reclaimed his destiny, Wang Lin did not withdraw his divine sense. It continued to search within the ninth sun, seeking out his familiar friends, family, and loved ones. He was determined to reclaim their destinies as well. Even though many of these people were already dead, Wang Lin would never allow them, even in death, to escape the rules of fate. As he continued searching, he found his father, his mother. It brought tears to his soul, for his parents' fates, even after death, were still intertwined, existing together in the cycle of life and death. The love between his parents was simple, warm. It was a love so strong that even in death, they remained together, relying on each other, eternally. Gently wrapping the fates of his deceased parents in his divine sense, Wang Lin began his search again. He found 13, Big Head, Zhou Yi, Qing Shuang, Qing Lin. He found Nin Yunzi, Hong Shanzi, Wang Zhua, the old Saint Emperor who had once helped him, and Dun Tian. He found more people, his son Wang Ping, Zhou Ru, taking away their destinies, freeing them from the constraints of heaven and earth, letting them, like himself, transcend the cycle of fate. He even found Red Butterfly, Mu Bingmei, Shizi Feng, and all the beautiful women who had crossed his life and vanished. And then, he found Li Qianmei. But in the midst of this ongoing search, Wang Lin could not find Qing Shui, could not find Situ Nan. He had even tried to search for the missing Tian Yunzi, but in the end, the fates of these three people seemed to have vanished without a trace. There was one more person who was incredibly important to Wang Lin, someone he could not find. This person was his lover, a woman who, after his parents, was as precious to him as life itself. This woman was called Li Muan. No matter how hard Wang Lin searched, he could not find the fate aura of Li Muan. It seemed as though this aura had vanished into thin air. However, unlike the disappearance of Qing Shui and Situ's fate, whose destinies seemed never to have existed in the ninth sun, Li Muan's presence still left traces. Yet, someone had unknowingly gotten ahead of him and taken it away. It wasn't until his divine sense returned to his body from the ninth sun that he opened his eyes. The brief confusion that flashed in his eyes made Wang Lin seem momentarily lost in the vastness of the world. Why is Situ and Qing Shui's fate absent here? Could it be that they do not belong to this cave mansion? The confusion in Wang Lin's eyes deepened. He thought back to the Jaha Rainbow Realm, where he saw Qing Shui, the Rainbow Taoist, and how Qing Shui's entire life was under the watchful gaze of the Rainbow Taoist. That strange gaze was something Wang Lin could still clearly recall. That gaze. It vaguely explains why Qing Shui's fate is absent from the ninth sun. But as for Situ, I know him well. His talent is extraordinary, and his cultivation increases exponentially every time we meet. Could this be the answer to why his fate is not in the ninth sun? Wang Lin fell silent as he looked down at the earth below. He seemed to grasp some fleeting thoughts, but these thoughts were shrouded in layers of mist, making it impossible for him to see the full picture. And Tian Yunzi. From the start, I couldn't fathom what was going through his mind. Perhaps only he himself knows. Even now that my cultivation has reached the mid-ethereal stage, I still feel wary of him. His secrets are deep and many, making him a terrifying presence. Wang Lin's gaze grew colder as he stared at the glaring ninth sun before him. Muan's fate aura is different from Situ and Qing Shui's. Here, there are traces of it, showing that it should have existed. But now, I can't find it. Who took Muan's fate aura? The coldness in Wang Lin's eyes intensified, almost radiating a murderous intent. He raised his head, staring at the dim sky, his eyes now filled with killing intent. Muan is just an ordinary woman. Her fate was never meant to be noticed by others. But now, it's been taken. Whoever took it, I, Wang Lin, swear upon this ancient immortal domain, I will reclaim it. If anyone dares to change her fate, I will hunt them down, even if it means entering the immortal firmament continent. I, Wang Lin, will make them pay for it, just as I did with the Tang family years ago. Muan was Wang Lin's Achilles heel. To see her fate aura taken away felt like his heart was ripped from his chest, and the pain drove him mad. The more he understood, the more painful it became. At this moment, Wang Lin almost wished he had remained ignorant, to live a simple life as an ordinary man, ending his life without knowing such cruel truths. But now, he knew, and there was no turning back. Muan's fate was taken, and he had to find it. He had to free her from the chains of destiny, just like himself. Only then would he be able to awaken Li Muan. After seeing the fates of many lives in the ninth sun, Wang Lin understood. His goal now was to resurrect Li Muan and make her wake up. The murderous intent in his eyes gradually concealed itself. His expression grew grim as he ignored the ninth sun beside him, turning and stepping down toward the earth below. The ancient statues of the three ancient clans stood tall. A desolate northern wind howled, sweeping countless sand grains across the ground, raising a dust storm that blotted out the heavens and earth. Looking around, there were no living beings, only craters and deep pits between the statues, remnants of an ancient battle long past. These craters, like scars, marked the earth with the passage of time. The howling wind could only carry away the dust on the surface of these scars, but couldn't disperse the lingering aura of divine arts left behind from that ancient battle. Landing on one of the ancient god statues, Wang Lin stood there. His white hair was scattered by the northern wind, and his white robes fluttered as the wind howled around him. Slowly, his eyes calmed. After a long time, he looked down at the statue beneath him. The ancient god depicted in the statue had long since perished. However, a strange power still lingered within it. This power was what allowed the statue to potentially awaken at any moment, transforming into a puppet with no existence, a so-called heavenly Tao envoy. The three ancient clans, reduced to mere guards of this cave mansion. How pitiful, how wretched, how detestable. Wang Lin shook his head. With a tap of his right foot on the statue beneath him, his body leapt upward. In that instant, a thunderous rumble echoed from within the statue. Cracks rapidly spread from the point of contact, spiderwebbing outward, engulfing the entire statue in moments. With a deafening boom, the statue shattered into pieces, breaking apart and scattering into countless fragments across the ground. Dust to dust, earth to earth. Since you died in battle long ago, do not cling to the desire for a lingering half-life. To perish on the battlefield, that is the noblest end for those like us. With a sweep of his sleeve, Wang Lin stepped forward. Every statue in his path, be it ancient god, ancient demon, or ancient fiend, crumbled into ruin beneath the force of his gestures. If I do not destroy you today, then when you awaken someday, you will undoubtedly disturb the world and become mere puppets. Wang Lin sighed softly. Raising his right hand, he struck forward. With a thunderous boom, another ancient demon statue collapsed into fragments, spiraling outward. As more and more statues, remnants of the three ancient clans, crumbled, wisps of aura from ancient gods, demons, and fiends emerged from the ruins. These threads of energy drifted through the world like smoke, gradually forming vague, ghostly silhouettes. These shadows resembled their forms in life, their old battle wounds still faintly visible. Though their expressions were at first dazed, understanding soon returned to their eyes. With bitter smiles, they bowed solemnly to Wang Lin before their forms twisted into wisps of smoke and spiraled into his body, merging with him. As Wang Lin continued forward, every statue he passed collapsed into rubble. The earth shook with rumbling echoes, while the sky filled with countless phantom figures, fists clasped in what seemed like grateful farewell. From afar, it was a haunting sight, an overwhelming sorrow radiating from each silhouette. Wang Lin said nothing more. In silence, he advanced step by step. The thunder of collapse accompanied him. The phantoms bowed to him one by one, and the auras of the three ancient clans fused into the star marks between his brows, into the light of his left and right eyes. The vast land stretched endlessly, and as the statues shattered, a mournful northern wind carried their sorrow, spiraling away into the skies. The wind's keening was like a murmured chant, softly telling tales of the past. No one knew how long had passed before a colossal statue appeared before Wang Lin, towering thousands of zhang high. On its brow were 9 star marks, the 9th still faint, yet already formed in outline. This ancient god had clearly reached the brink of the 9-star peak. He stood frozen mid-punch, his right hand raised but halted halfway. His expression was filled with agony and unwillingness, his body sealed by some unknown force, transformed into stone. His simple armor, too, had become part of the statue. This was the ancient god with the most star marks Wang Lin had encountered. Standing before it, Wang Lin could faintly sense the terrifying might this being once wielded. That half-thrown punch seemed capable of tearing open the heavens, obliterating countless cultivators. His open eyes radiated defiance. Just a single glance felt as if one could hear a furious roar from countless ages past, echoing from deep within the statue. Wang Lin stood silently for a long while before clasping his hands in respect and bowing. Then, with a sudden sweep of his right hand, countless cracks instantly spread across the statue. Under the sound of splitting stone, they covered the entire figure. Finally, with an explosive roar, the statue began to collapse. But at the exact moment of its destruction, from the center of the 9-star formation on its brow, a vortex suddenly began to spin. As it spun, the statue's forehead appeared to melt, and from within that whirlpool came a sharp, piercing shriek. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He had already sensed something at the vortex's first appearance, and now stared coldly at it. A withered hand, slick with viscous fluids, burst forth from the vortex, clawing its way outward. As it emerged, a chilling, deathly aura erupted, spreading in all directions. The aura came entirely from that dried-up right hand. It radiated death, supreme might, and flickers of golden light that pulsed faintly from within its surface. The shrieking grew sharper and more frenzied. The withered hand clawed fiercely to the side, as if trying to pull itself out of the vortex. The scream grew clearer and more terrifying with every passing moment, shaking the heavens and earth. You have disturbed this immortal slumber. You have destroyed the vessel meant for my recovery. You have committed a capital crime. No matter who you are or where you come from, death is your only fate. Not only will you die, your entire clan will be buried with you. You destroyed the vessel. Your body shall now become mine. With the impact of the fall, the old man was in intense pain, but he still hadn't regained his senses. Instead, his anger only grew stronger. It wasn't until Wang Lin grabbed him by the neck and blasted his left arm off with a single strike that the old man was filled with fear. Only then did he come to his senses and realize that the person standing before him was not the lower realm ant he remembered seeing, one who would tremble and bow to the immortals with excitement. This person was different. Rebellious cultivator, you're a rebellious cultivator from the lower realm. The old man's voice was filled with disbelief as his body shook, and he rapidly retreated. Wang Lin's expression remained calm. He flicked his sleeve and took a single step, appearing instantly behind the old man. His right hand lifted and directly struck at the old man. With a loud boom, the old man screamed in agony as blood sprayed from his mouth. He was heavily injured once more, staggering backward, his face pale, his eyes filled with overwhelming fear. It's impossible. When the master set the heavenly tribulation, it was to prevent rebellious cultivators from appearing. With the heavenly tribulation in place, there can never be a third-step rebellious cultivator in this world. This can't be happening. Not only here in the master's domain, but even among the many powerful experts' caves in the immortal firmament continent, there has never been a rebellious cultivator from the lower realm who reached the third step. The old man wiped the blood from his face, let out a bitter laugh, and suddenly turned around. His eyes were filled with madness. As an immortal, he naturally had methods to save his life even in the face of despair. He had also survived the great battle from long ago. Those who lived through that war were no weaklings. With his hands forming seals, the old man bit his tongue, spraying out a mouthful of blood that gleamed with golden light. But just as the blood left his mouth, Wang Lin's eyes flashed. His right hand rose, and in a leisurely, composed manner, he pointed at the old man. Freeze. The old man's body instantly trembled, and the blood that had just spewed out was completely frozen in midair. Even his body froze, losing all ability to move. Time and space itself seemed to halt, as if the very laws of nature had stopped. However, as an immortal, in that moment of stillness, the old man's mind was violently shaken. His soul trembled with shock. Sealing the void technique. This is the immortal venerable's great divine ability, sealing the void technique. How could he know this technique? How did he learn it? Who taught him? His thoughts were frozen under the sealing spirit art. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he walked up to the old man, looking at his face frozen in terror. He raised his right hand and placed it gently on his crown. Let me see what really happened here all those years ago.